Hi, my name is Lami. I am a writer, a yoga instructor. I believe in interconnectedness of everything, and with me here today is
OT the prophet, OT God, the same OT. I'm an holistic healer and also an artist, a poet, writer, musician, and a prophet.
Prophet.
Yeah. Also a certified numerologist. So yeah, let's go ahead with the topic today.
Okay, so we want to talk about how how to emotionally and spiritually audit our relationships. What does that mean for you?
Wow. I think before we can even first start any sort of connections at all, we need to be emotionally and spiritually conscious before indulgences. You understand? Because if the people you are having connections with, you are not spiritually and emotionally aligned with them, I don't think a connection is even supposed to come forth in the first place. And this sort of implies with even our family also. There's no how you can have a good relationship with your parents if you are not connected with them emotionally and spiritually. Same with your siblings and your extended family. So it is very, very important.
Okay, so I mean, coming to the audit part, I had a thing where it was a coaching thing where I touted auditing your relationships. Audit is basically a term that is associated with accounting, so it's like checking and balancing. So if your connections, if you are not emotionally or spiritually auditing them, you find yourself probably doing the same things or not.
Audit,
So but checking it or making sure that this connection is serving me how I think I should be served, or because sometimes we don't even know that we need certain things, but this connection is feeding us, is fueling us in some type of way. So I mean that's basically we want to be able to properly explore that that connection is serving us as it should. So I think that would now take us to self-abandonment versus self.
Now there's a word that you used there. You said serving us. Serving us, I think most relationships, if we are looking at the perspective of it has to serve me, then it is becoming a sort of a trait of narcissism or a trait of selfishness, because we are always looking at what am I going to get, how is it going to serve me, what's the value this is giving to me. It's all about me. Sometimes we shouldn't be negligent of other people, and that isn't even supposed to be the main purpose of our focus. The main purpose of our focus is supposed to be the relationship itself. So it is not about me, it is not about you, it's about the relationship. So what is the relationship going to fester? What is it going to breed for both of us? You understand? I just decided to bring that out.
I mean it's important. I get the angle. Like it feels almost selfish, but I mean it takes us to the first thing: self-abandonment versus self-alignment. Now I get into a relationship, and for some reason I mean the whole emotions come in, the hormones, the everything comes in. They're feeding me in some type of way. I'm feeding them right back, and maybe for some reason I have like tons of things that were on my table before. I wanted to achieve this, I wanted to achieve that. But because of the other person, I kind of self-abandon. I'm focused on their needs, so to say. I'm focused on helping them.
Sort of compromise.
Yes, I'm focused on. I've left myself. I've left whatever is probably my purpose, what I'm supposed to be doing. At that point, I mean, you still talking about serving you. Is it serving you? So I want to look at it from the angle of it's not really about selfishness. It's about, because you're the main character in your story. Every other person is a side character. That doesn't mean that they are not as important as you are.
I get that. That's spot on.
So basically it's how is this relationship, like you mentioned, how is this relationship serving me, serving you, serving both of us? How are we moving forward? Am I abandoning some version of myself because I want to? So that also brings into play that audit, then self-alignment as well. Like, okay, this working towards my goals, this working towards my life's purpose?
Yeah, of course. Alignment is very, very important, like you said. And even this self-abandonment thing that you said is actually a very, very, very real shit, man. Very, very real shit, because I myself have experienced it before in my life at the time whereby, okay, someone that grew up with traits and syndromes of people pleasing. Many of us did, because right from growing up we were taught to please. School teaches you to please your teachers, parents teaches you to please them, the society teaches you to please the elders. They don't even say respect your elders, they say fear your elders. You know, a lot of different kind of syndromes. So you start having a sort of coping mechanisms so you can fit in and these people accept you. So because of this trait, many of us carries it into our adulthood, and it sort of reflects in our relationships also. So got to a point in my life when I started being conscious. I saw, like, there were times whereby I will have someone in my life, in fact to the most minute of cases, whereby it's just like having someone over at my space, then because that person is in my space, then I'm destabilized. Then everything that I'm supposed to be doing,
you're not doing them.
I'm not doing them, because I'm trying to focus on that person. I'm trying to make them feel comfortable. Like that's the idea I give myself in my head. I'm trying to make them feel comfortable. But at the end of the day, it's just
you're inconveniencing yourself
of trying to please them. So I'm abandoning myself to make sure they are fine. So when I started being conscious, I saw these traits, and I've been like, is this really me being caring or people pleasing? So when I started seeing it, I saw that self-abandonment was really, really there. So it is very, very important. It all comes back to you. But I'm just saying that there's always a thin line between self-care and sometimes selfishness.
Well, we'll put a pin on that. All right. So exploring growth and repetition. Now,
man, we spoke about this last night.
We did. So it's like, we talk about patterns. You know, I've explored stuff in my, in my space, my mind palace. Thinking about how I'm doing something over and over again. I think I've passed this particular phase. Then I come back and see something else. Back there, right? I feel like okay. You cannot catch me. You cannot catch me slacking. Then I come back and see some different forms.
You actually slacked.
A new version. So exploring growth versus repetition. Now, how is one able to, in the aspect of emotionally and spiritually auditing one's relationship? Now, coming back to that thing, is this serving me? When I say something is serving me, that's why I said put a pin on it. It doesn't mean that I am also not putting my own thing into the equation. Doesn't mean that I am not also doing what I should for them, meeting them at their needs. Because I know that personally, I would definitely, feed that relationship. I would definitely pour water into the plant, you grow. Yes, right. So because I know that I'm going to do that, so is that relationship, is it going to do the same thing for me? Right. So in growth,
there's true. There's supposed to be a place of correlation, a place of midpoint. You can't just give without getting. So there's supposed to be a place of connection. That's actually where the bonding of the relationship, the depth of the relationship starts building. So it's not about I love you, do you love me back? So you guys are meeting at a particular standpoint. So if that is not there, there is no relationship. It's just one person leeching off the other. So it's very, very valid. It's very, very valid. And coming to the growth and repetition, I'm trying to hear what you are saying about this.
So I mean, patterns. We as human beings, we started with patterns from our childhood. Mom did this, dad did this, I also did this, my church did this, my religion.
Before you even get to that point, I also did this. You've blamed everybody.
Right, so we have, we've embodied all of these things. They become us. So many of us have, taken that trauma self and, personally, this is who I am.
Made an identity out of it.
Yes. So growth repetition. How is one able to, while emotionally and spiritually auditing a relationship? Now, first of all, your relationship with yourself, right?
Yeah, and that's really what propels your outside relationship.
Yes, showing up for yourself, deciding, okay, keeping the promises you've made to yourselves, amongst other things. So growth and repetition. How does one grow, and deciding, okay, I'm done with this frequency, right? This frequency is I'm no longer playing in this field, I'm playing with the big boys and girls now, right? And so what's your take on, growth and repetition in regards, auditing our relationships, spiritually and emotionally?
I think this is like the essence of relationships and connections, because I made a video recently about how people in our lives, they aren't really just stagnant in a particular position. Some are beside you today, in the next 2 years they are behind you. Then you are still together, but not in the same, I use the concept of having your life look like a vehicle, like a bus. So some people are sitting in the front seat, some are sitting at the back seat, back seat. So this kind of scenario is trying to point towards that you are always growing. Though not everybody they grow,
right?
But if you claim to be conscious and if you claim to be aware, and I believe that most of the people that are watching this are people that are already conscious and aware, or they are striving to get on that altitude of consciousness. If you are this, you can't be in a particular position all your life. And the more you change positions, basically, metaphysically, if you are going to portray it, or if you are going to explain it, it is you switching frequencies. So you're vibrating on different kind of frequencies. So the frequency that I was vibrating on 2 years ago, 3 years ago, isn't where I am right now. In fact, 6 months ago can't even relate to where I am right now. So the more you evolve, which is growth, that'd be the most craziest part of relationships, because you might be evolving and people that you really do love that are in your life, that you have relationships with, are not evolving with you. And there's liable to be a sort of altercations of
so you get to like caught up, because basically we're trying to audit now.
That's where I'm going. Now the mistake that most of us do, even the conscious folks, is that we cut off. I'm not doing it again, or this person isn't meant for me, and all of that. But really, if we are saying we want to cut off this, cut off that, cut off that, we don't really have people in our lives, and everybody has their own part to play in your story. Same as you have parts to play in their stories. So really, that's why I made that model of having your life to look like a boss. So if this person is in the front seat today and you feel like next 6 months back seat, back seat, back seat, and some people might be in the back seat
and
since like 5 years ago, and all of a sudden their growth sort of like
spirals
and gets to the top, and you guys are on the same frequency. Then you come from the back seat to the front seat with you. And at the end of the day, you also are supposed to be able to assess the kind of values you are implementing in other people's lives. It's not like, after you have taken from them, I see that you can't take from them anymore, then you be like, now I can't take from them. You are good to the back. You are a fucking user. That's not a relationship. That's how am I going to call it?
That's become vampiric. You're the vampire. So basically on growth and repetition, there's also the importance of identifying, as someone who is growing conscious. It's important to know, okay, this is a pattern that I have taken, this when I took this particular road this particular day, it didn't go down well. And also identifying, because another thing I have noticed another thing I've noticed is that sometimes we are stuck on the past. We feel like, this particular road I took didn't go well, we're not going to go that route, and there might be something there on that route, there might be a difference, a change in atmosphere, in scenery that was supposed to uncover, right? So that's also an important thing. Not
very
mind off.
Very. That was why I put out one of my short quotes writing the other day. I said, just because something isn't familiar doesn't mean it is not good for you. So because it is not familiar doesn't mean it's not what you need at that moment of your life. So most times our brain is used to what is familiar, what is familiar. When it comes to something that isn't familiar, even if it's going to help you grow, the brain will be like,
I can't do this.
That's where consciousness comes in. Like, fuck you, man, you're doing this. And that's where self-control and all of this. I really relate to that.
Okay, so exploring energy audits now. What's my energy? I had a conversation with somebody I used to know, and the person was like, "Why are you being so hostile to me? Why are you being?" And I'm like, "I'm not." It's like your energy. What your energy is? Your energy. I'm like, I just see you as somebody I used to know. There's no right.
The connection no day.
The Bluetooth device is off.
Disconnected.
Right? So, exploring energy audits in relation with doing like a spiritual and emotional audit. How would you say that? Once you can check your energy, how do you I think you can come at it from the aspect of being around somebody. Do you feel lower at the end of the day? Do you feel uplifted? Do you feel nourished at the end of that interaction? Right?
Energy audits.
Yeah.
It's very, very important too. Because as at that moment of auditing energy, you don't just audit the person's energy, you audit your own energy also. Because you have to look at how is this interaction or how is this connection making me feel. Then also, how is this person feeling during a period of connection? And also this connection, what sort of energy is it breathing? Is it a beautiful energy? When you guys come together, the collective energy that you breathe, is it the one that consists of toxicity and negativity, or the one that breeds positivity and ideas and growth and all of that shit? So this basically, because sometimes if you are using our own energy audit to determine how other people are and how we are going to assess or position them in our life, you can be biased. Because based on your own traumas, you can get triggered if they do some things. Meanwhile, those things that they do isn't the person they are, but it's just things that they are doing. And if the moment the brain again comes into the picture, be like, this particular thing, there was a time I felt it and it wasn't nice. I don't like this person. This person has a negative energy. And that's the responsibility of the amygdala, the primate part of your brain. Is the one that carries all of the emotions. And you feel that emotion, and emotion is energy. So if you are unable to have the intelligence, emotional intelligence, that the reason why I'm feeling like this is because I had a trauma at a particular time. So this is a trigger to that trauma. If you don't know, you are going to immediately perform prejudice on that person and say that she has a bad energy. And we don't really have much words to give meaning to things. You can say, the energy is awkward, the energy you don't even say all of that, you just say
bad.
And I don't like her. So isn't that bias? So that is why it is a very, very deep aspect of connections. So
would you say how would you say one deal with it? Would you say, okay, now I found out that I felt like this energy is bad. Would you like have a conversation with the person, or would you watch the person more, or would you attend to your own triggers? Like, how would you say one would like dance around? I
swear na everything. You observe the person, observe your energy, and observe your triggers. Everything. See, keeping relationships and connections is a lot of work. So most times that's why a lot of people tend to be alone. A lot of people, because it is a lot of work, because there is a lot of assessment going on, there is a lot of observations going on, there is a lot of check-ins going on. So, and a lot of people are fucking lazy. So since you are lazy, you just like, oh, mommy, I just do my lane. That way I'm not bothered. But still, most times if you don't get into relationships with people or connections, especially intimate relationships, you are not going to see the mirroring. You will not know that part of you that they are going to mirror to show you your triggers, and especially
you will not know
your traumas. Relationships has helped me a lot to discover my own traumas. I've been into relationships with people that showed me. In fact, it was through a relationship that my steadfastness in the path of enlightenment and spiritual growth was able to be propelled. It was a relationship that did that. So if you are running from a relationship, it's just like you are running away from things that are liable to help you grow. So is that being careful or being fearful?
Is that being careful or being fearful? Okay, so exploring our value and vision check. Now you're in a relationship, talking about romantic, platonic, business, partnerships, any kind of relationship, friendships, and we want to audit it spiritually, emotionally. How are you aligned vision-wise, value-wise? Right? Is this really working? Is the conversations we have, the things we build together, are they going to, are they going towards the life that I think that I want? Right? So checking our values and our visions is also a very huge part of auditing our relationships
and connections. Right? Because even with what we are having right now, with what we are doing right now, it is because our values and visions are aligned. So that's the essence of having valuable relationships, and it's because we have actually audited beforehand that this is happening. So, or saying it. So basically, if you are not speaking the same language with people, and you are not on the same path of road with people, and you are not having the same similar destination with people, so what are you doing with such people?
On your own, and you don't have any cause to complain because you put yourself in it.
You did. You did. So such are very, very important things to observe.
So coming to the last thing, some people call it Holy Spirit, some people call it different names. Intuition. Intuition is regarding our, auditing our relationship. Sometimes from the beginning, from the get-go, you can already tell if you pay attention, if you put your ears to the ground, you can already tell that this thing that I want to enter.
Your mind will tell you. Your mind will tell you. Now you go feel them.
You go feel them.
You don't have situations whereby you meet people and your soul just rejoices like meeting them.
My soul rejoiced when I met you.
You see, and do you even know the funniest part is that as from times of when we started interacting, like it felt so transparent, it felt so free, like there's nothing to be worried about. It felt so trusting. So we being able to plan this and every other thing that we've been able to do together is just because we trust each other. It's not even like we've been together for years or for a long time, but because our soul trusts each other even before the mind code. So that's actually part of the intuition. That's why I said, and you meet some people immediately. And this one is very, very tricky also, because sometimes, what about if you are being triggered? That's why you have to be able to know the difference between when your intuition, when your chi energy, when your essence is speaking, when your divine self is speaking, when your higher self is speaking, to when your traumas are speaking, when your brain is da-da-da-da-da-da, when your triggers are talking, when the ego is yapping, because they be looking similar sometimes, especially when one is not conscious enough.
They do. Maybe probably you just look at everybody that is wearing black. You have bad energy, or you already have this bias.
Because your head seems to be black.
You already have this bias, and it's. So I think it's a muscle. Intuition is a muscle that can be, strengthened. So it's the more you use it, the more you're able to trust it, the more you can do more with it.
I swear, because I remember what you said the other time, that you said when you cut off from people, that it is a bone that you now you are saying this also is a muscle, and I really relate with that. I love that. It is a muscle. The more you follow your intuitions, the more your intuition gets to give you more messages and more directions to follow.
Yes, I mean, connecting with our, emotionally, spiritually, auditing our relationships is a big deal.
Very, very big.
Yeah, because that's the way we are able to make less mistakes, repeat less patterns, go with people that are aligned with our values, our visions, and connect well energetically and all of the works.
Because I always tell people, if you don't find a way to do the works that helps you have genuine relationships, your growth is going to be difficult, because the place that you want to get to in life, either spiritually, mentally, or even physically, career-wise, there are people there already. So if you can't get to the point whereby you are attracting those people, there's no how you can have that ladder, which is like a fast route to get to that place you are going. And which way is the easiest way to get to that point is when you work on your connection with people. Because most times you do think, many of us feels like people are bad, but are you sure you're not the one bad?
Or you're a green flag that has turned to a red flag,
or you're the flag?
Yes, I mean, that's it. It's important to audit our relationships with ourselves first,
listen to the queen,
and then with others. It's having fun.
Whoa! That was